are going to be running my homebrew campaign setting, which has borrowed heavily an antagonist from a primary antagonist from Matt Colville, and has a lot of other unique features in it. We play the Pathfinder rule set, but again, that is also homebrewed some. There are some things from 5e, such as advantage and disadvantage, which I really enjoy, which are integrated here. It's a three-player game, and they have an NPC who has been tagging along with them as well. His name is Corbin. He is basically an escaped slave, and he has got everybody's level 6, and he has like 5 levels in commoner and 1 level in fighter, so he is pretty underpowered compared to our heroes. I've got them all on the other channel. Let's go do recap. All right.
Daniel, he's disconnected.
Oh no. No more technical difficulties. I do not wish to see them.
Oh, we're playing till like 4, right? That's the attempt?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we gotta go get a lot of candy. Doo-dah. Doo-dah.
And then as soon as Daniel hops back in the game, well, I guess Daniel can still hear us, can't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we can do recap while you're hopping back in the game. In kind of in short, because it's been a little while, so I will go ahead and make sure key points go over. 2 days ago, you guys started in Ruinswick by talking with Charas and telling him like, all right, we're gonna go out and be ready. We're gonna come back with a goblin. And you headed along the south road on a job for the Woodsman's Guild of Ruinswick to deliver to them, as many goblin ears as you are able to slay to relieve some pressure that their woodsman's logging camp has been experiencing. You guys travel along the road for a day, end up camping for a night, tell some scary stories and some tasteful limericks, and then you guys woke the next morning and headed along the old logging trail to the logging camp, where Mary made the first introduction as Dixie Normus, and it did not go over particularly well with Geely Copperbeard, the foreman of the camp. Fortunately, the rest of you did emerge to back up her story. She attempted to display her talent with a crossbow by shooting an apple off of a goblin's head. One of Gundar's goblins, who is a small man with gnarled ears, who doesn't do any work himself, but has a group of goblins who he's managed to like domesticate. Nobody's really sure what the deal is, but they do all the work for him, and he collects the payment. You guys eventually ended up, by dropping Kogan's name, the point person for the guild, who Geely obviously knows and recognizes. He settled down, and you guys headed out to, after interrogating the goblins, who did not have a whole lot to say to you guys. You guys decided to basically just follow the river towards the mountains and see what you could see. After traveling for the rest of the day, you ended up taking another break to camp. There was some, and then Mary spotted a pair of goblin eyes during her watch. There was a lot of indecision about what to do next. There was some attempts within the party to throw each other in the river or Krampus her, or I don't remember what exactly ended up happening, but ultimately all of it was unsuccessful. You guys decided to come back to the mining camp. Mary took the opportunity to convince Art that in order for them to be even, she needed to give him a beauty makeover, which he consented to. So he is very beautified right now. And you guys had come back in the early morning, just before, after the sun rises, but before the lumberjacks get to work, and found out that one of them was missing. Geely was pretty upset about this. and Mary decided to see what she could see in his camp, or in his tent rather. And the only thing that really stood out was that there were lots of small footprints, like in and around the tent. And Mary had not quite gotten to the point to where she was like she had divulged what her plan was yet. We ended up like cutting it pretty abruptly and heading out. So we'll pick it up this time around with Mary, going through the tent, finding that the bedroll has been, it looks like he is unmade. Looks like he was very hastily got out of bed. There are lots of footprints all over the place, and like scuff marks and things on the ground. And you're obviously like still in the tent right now, so you have not like left them to follow them to see where they go or anything. But you're looking around, and the three guys are just kind of standing around waiting to hear your report. So I think that you should start us off.
So we had been in the tent. We
Yep.
looked in the tent.
Yep.
There were footprints.
Yes.
But Mary had not revealed. Okay. Is Daniel back in the game?
Not yet.
It's being like it froze up on me, and I'm trying to get back in.
Okay, but you're good for me to just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you guys are in
Hold on.
camp. There's no combat or anything. He doesn't need to know what tile he's in exactly.
Yeah, it's been a while. I forgot how to do the movements in this. Okay, so Mary's gonna. How do I turn?
Q and E.
E. There we go. Mary's gonna hobble out of the tent, be like, guys, I found something.
They're just like, what'd you find?
Found some footprints. Look at them suckers. And she's gonna point at the foots and can at this point I can't remember how high we rolled, but like, can she start to like follow them or no?
It's a different like tracking footprints is a different skill. So you rolled your roll to like figure out what happened here, and what you figured out was it looked like he got out of bed quickly. There were signs of a scuffle, and there's lots of small footprints. And that's what that's what you determined with your first roll. If you want to follow this trail specifically somewhere, it'll be a second roll basically
Okay.
for survival.
Mary's gonna be like, look at kind of art. Oh wait, Daniel got back in. Yay.
Sweet.
And be like, okay, what I think happened. He got out of bed. All stuff got pushed around. There's a bunch of these little goblin ass footprints on the ground. You and me, let's check it out. Let's try to see where they lead. Talking to Art.
Even if they cross the river.
Do you really want to do this right now?
It's fresh on his mind. He literally still has the makeup on his face.
Uh-huh. Do you remember what happened last time? Let's not do that again. Man on the loose. Come on. Shut up. Let's do this. So
Right.
I guess Mary's gonna go start trying to look for footprints. I'm assuming Art's doing the same?
Yeah.
Cool. Survival
Okay.
rolls from both of you, please.
Yeah. Oh, it's been hella long since we've used this. The Tower of Doom.
The Tower of Doom. Doom.
19 plus. Where's my survival? So 23.
Yeah, it's better than your original roll, which was just a dirty 20.
Yeah.
What is, just out of curiosity, what's Art's roll?
Oh. Nine. Then what do I add to it?
Your survival skill.
That was 5. 14.
Okay. So, Art is able to make out that that there's a few sets of footprints which head out of the tent. I think it's Shift Tab click. Is that right? Yeah, lead out of the tent. In this direction. Mary sees that there are there are between 3 and 5 sets of footprints that lead into the tent, and then also that lead back out in the same direction. They're overlapped, and they're difficult to read, but you rolled particularly well. So basically, Mary is seeing like a troop of footprints that lead back and forth out this way, and Art is seeing just a few footprints that go out in this direction.
Okay, I'm assuming Mary's gonna kind of walk over to Art and point at like the footprint she found and went, okay, so a bunch of overlapping ones here, but we can see that they went into the tent, and I'm kind of gonna assume that they went in, he woke up, there was a scuffle, and then they came out. What did you find?
I'm sorry, can you... But was there... I was having some audio issues.
You're okay. You were able to detect a few sets of footprints coming from the tent going out in this direction.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I practically just see the footprints heading towards over here. To the right of us, if you want to go check it out.
Okay, kind of just gonna waddle that way. Dun, 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 dun. You coming too, Tim? Corbin?
Yeah, I'm just kind of
Yeah.
following.
And they'll follow you guys for sure. Mary, as you're looking at these tracks, you're able to see that not only do they go from the tent to the water, but there is a second set of tracks a few feet off that go from the water to the tent.
Okay. Mary's gonna kind of point at the second ones and be like, "Look at those! From the they're going from like the water to the tent, and then they go back to the water." He's just gonna.
Could Tim see if he could know what kind of tracks they are, like if they're Goblin or something else?
Oh, I'm sorry if I didn't mention it specifically. With Mary's high roll, she can identify all of the small tracks definitively as Goblin tracks.
Okay.
They goblin feet. Mary is like looking pretty peeved. They're gonna have to go in this water. How deep is this river looking, Dave? Just like
I
gushing
mean,
water.
it's deep enough. When I first described it to you, I said it was deep enough for a single sail, small 20-foot vessel to like navigate this river up and down. So I mean, it's probably 30 feet deep in the middle.
Mary's gonna kind of look at Art and be like, "Do you think the little bastard swam across?"
Probably, yeah.
But
I mean, I don't really see them just going in the river just to drown.
no, but like what I'm saying is like the water is so deep, how'd they get across? Unless they had like a boat or something. Maybe they came prepared. Either way, they definitely came from the river.
Yeah.
Make or get a boat from the camp here.
A little bit louder, Andreas. I didn't quite catch all that.
Andreas.
What?
One more time.
Got it.
No, maybe we can ask loggers if they have a boat or a raft that we can borrow, or worst case scenario, we can make it really quick one and craft it across the river.
Okay, let's do this. Is this like it's Dwarf Lodger, our boss, the boss who we were talking to before?
What about him?
Was Dwarf Lodger the boss guy we were talking to before? This dude?
No.
Yeah? Okay.
No.
Mary's gonna just waddle.
No, that was a no. N-O, no.
Oh, okay. Where'd the boss go?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Mary's just gonna kind of find Mary. Come on, Mary. Gonna just waddle up, I guess. I'm assuming the boys are you guys gonna come too, or just let Mary go alone?
Definitely.
Okay. But Mary's just gonna go up to him and be like, "Well, we think we have a kind of a rough idea of what may have happened to the guy."
So I'm very interested to hear this.
Okay. Well, we found a shit ton of like goblin tracks. But weirdly enough, they come from the river. Then they kind of get into like a little area where they overlap a bunch. They go into the tent. In the tent, it's a mess. You can definitely tell there was like a skirmish. They go out of the tent and back into the river. So, from what we can tell, they came prepared. Either they swam across the river or they had a little makeshift boat, came into the outside the tent, got ready, went in, ambushed him, fought him, were able to somehow subdue him, drag him out, and then go back into the water. But what we're assuming is they probably had some way to get across, because otherwise they would have had to swim with him.
And he says, that is impossible. He said, Roy is much bigger than, he's as big as 4 goblins. They couldn't, there's no way. They could have swam with him. And he says, you say you see lots of goblin tracks. It's like, I don't know if you've noticed, but we have goblins in our camp. It's not out of place that there would be goblin tracks.
Yeah.
We do require that they bathe occasionally, so how do you know it's not from them?
It just feels a bit too off. I don't know how to explain it, but guy goes missing. You look in there, it's all messed up. There's goblin tracks everywhere inside his tent. And the exact same track, same size, everything goes back into the water. All I'm saying is, goblins definitely got him. I think they probably came from the river.
So you're saying you don't think Gundar's goblins had anything to do with this?
Can't say for sure, but I don't think so. Because the tracks, they stopped at the river. It was like they came out the river, they got him, they took him back. And the only way that could have been done is if they had a boat, came out, got him, put him in the boat, and went off. Because the tracks end there. If it was Gundar's goblins coming out, taking a bath, we would have seen the wet tracks gone back over to where their cages were. We didn't see that. They just magically stopped.
Hold on, they just magically stopped?
Yeah, like they just stopped. There was no more.
Hold on, as your DM, I am not sure. I may have misdescribed something. So what is your
For me, magically stop means like they just stopped completely.
and which tracks are you referring to?
The ones that went into the water and then they were gone.
Oh, I see. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
It was, well, I'm sure it's because it was the water. I mean, you can't create tracks in the water. That's where the trail would stop naturally. And there weren't any other signs. There's no.
If they were Gundar's goblins, we would have seen tracks returning from the water.
Didn't you say there were tracks going from the water to the tent?
Yeah, but they were off. Can we show you then? Can we show it to you?
Okay, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay. Let's waddle over.
He'll follow you over. And as he comes into the tent, he barks at the 3 the 2 humans, the human, the dwarf, and the lizard folk, and tells them to get to work. And he points to Gundar, and he says, "You're only getting paid for a half day's work today. Your goblins are staying locked up till we figure this out." And the 3 of them, go to work. Gundar.
This was where the ones starting from the water were, right?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they ran.
Okay. Mary is gonna kind of walk alongside the tracks and be like, okay, so they started out here. We went through here. There's a bunch over here circled, and then they go into the tent. Tent is all skirmish. You can tell there was a fight in there. Then they come out and go this way.
And Gundar looks down at the tracks that you've described, and he points to the more kind of like jumbled mess, and he says, "What about those?" And they're out
well,
here.
That one, don't know. Those could honestly be from Gundar's goblins. They could be from when they prepared themselves from going into the tent. But it's clear that goblins came in and they through the river. That's where they left.
And
Which is kind of concerning, because if they're able to take a person over to the river, that means they got boats.
Hey, who's flipping? Is that not? Leave him be. um, oh, excuse me. And Geely looks at you and says, "Well, then I suppose they're either up or down river or across. You have some work to do."
Yep, we do. Out of curiosity, you guys got anything for boats? Any type of miniature boat? Something we could use, a little raft even?
And he shakes his head, and he says, we do sometimes lash some logs together and create rafts and float some of the wood down the river when the river is high after the snow begins to melt." He's like, but the river, but we haven't done that for for a month or two now.
Okay.
You wouldn't mind if I fashioned together a raft so we can cross, right?
And he looks at you and he says, "As long as you don't fuck it up." He's like, "I'll give you enough wood for one raft."
Yeah, don't worry about that.
This is excellent. Take what you need. And he walks over with his clipboard and he notates a couple of notations on the board, and then he turns back to you guys and says, "I have to manage the camp today. And he sighs and has a defeated look in his eyes. "I'm another man down. Please find out what is happening here. I can't afford to lose any more."
We'll do our best.
Cool. No, I'm sorry, Art.
No, you're good.
Yeah, nobody's got anything else to say to him. He wanders off to go do some work, and you guys are left in the tent area with only Gundar on the opposite side, smoking out of a tobacco pipe.
I know Tim. He going to go over to where the wrapping tubes are and start working on that.
Go ahead and roll me if you have carpentry or woodworking, you can roll that skill. Otherwise, just roll me a general craft check, and we'll see how long it takes you and if you're successful. The other two of you?
Yeah.
24.
Oh yeah, you're going to be able to do that for sure.
I think, yeah, Mary's just gonna kind of watch as he makes the thing. But, oh wait, Mary's gonna kind of look towards Art and be like, "I don't think they could be trying to repeat the whole summoning of that one god, do you?"
Wait, what do you mean?
Remember when we got stuck in the cave after we had rescued, I forget how to pronounce his name, the guy who had gets
Yeah, you think they're trying to make another sacrifice?
Well, it just kind of makes sense because people are disappearing. And we know that they're in connections with that one god, and that human sacrifice is part of it. Wouldn't it make sense that if people were disappearing, they might be trying to do that, like a part 2?
Yeah. You think the goblins that they keep in the cages here would know anything about this?
I think we should definitely go ask.
Probably.
Okay.
True.
One more time,
Maybe.
Andreas.
He said maybe not when Gundar's around. You might actually want to just put your headphones on, babe.
Yeah, because I could definitely hear him. There would be an echo if he put his headphones on, and I catch most of it. But I think that your volume, the bottom threshold, is set too high, so it cuts him out because it doesn't think there's enough input.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever you guys want. But anyway, so then Tim says to the group, maybe when Gundar's not around. Corbin's going to then turn to the group and say, kind of looks like he's around all the time. I mean, I don't think I've seen him more than a few feet away from those goblins.
True, but he has to sleep at some point.
But then hold on. What if I'll just go ask the camp leader to see if I can talk to the goblins. Me and Art can talk to the goblins in private. See if they might, if that could help, if he would just tell Gundar to go fuck off. Come on, Art, let's go.
Alright.
Dun, 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 dun.
You guys approach Geely, who has his back turned to you, and he's, counting different logs and eyeballing, the pace of the work of his remaining laborers, but he does not immediately notice you.
Excuse me. Mary's gonna kind of.
He turns, yes?
We kind of have a bit of a favor to ask. Could we speak to Gundar's goblins in private without him there? We want to ask them some stuff that we're kind of concerned about, but the missing people might be involved.
He says, yes, he says, a lot of my laborers have been worried about the same thing. And he sighs and he says, but I will tell you what I tell them. The goblins are Gundar's property, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that.
Okay, well, thanks for trying. We'll try to figure something out. Okay.
And
Just kind of walk away.
And he turns,
okay, Art,
and he turns to, before you guys leave, he turns to you and says, but if one of you were able to distract him, another one of you might be able to get just a word or two in. He's like, but I don't know. And he says, anyway, I hope you find out what happened to Roy. And he turns back around to monitor his work.
Mary's going to kind of give him a wink before he does that. But Mary's going to look at Art. Okay, do you want to distract them, or do you want me to distract them?
I want to be the distraction.
I thought that you going, oof, like you were sick for a second. I was like, oh shit, Daniel's down. Oh. Okay, so Art wants to be the distraction?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to do? Let's come up with
Okay.
Corbin waves you guys over as he sees you guys disengaging from Geely. And he's like, what? What'd he say?
Okay. Well, I guess we can go back to there. Ugh. Oh no, Chapter. Well, he can't force Gundar to just let him talk to the goblins because those are his property. But if someone were to distract him, one of us could go talk to him. And Art wants to be the distraction.
Well, what are you gonna say to the goblins? You probably won't have very much time.
That's what we gotta figure out. Because what I'm worried about. Remember when we were in the cave and they were doing that human sacrifice to what's his name? Tim? What was the god's name?
Radrash?
Close, Hadragash. Close enough that I'll give it to you.
To Hadragash. They involved human sacrifice. That's how we found Fareed. Who's to say this isn't a part 2? The remix, if you will.
Goblin
where they're
Blue.
trying to do this, because why else would they be kidnapping humans? Normally, goblins, they ransack things, yeah. Kidnapping a human might mean human sacrifice. So more Hadragash. How do we bridge? Mary's just gonna...
That sounds reasonable, I guess. Do all goblins do the same thing? He's like, but Calrell's goblins are totally different, right?
Yeah, but it's worth the ask.
We're in the area with the other goblins, so it wouldn't be surprising if they were also still sacrificing him.
You never know. Maybe they're from the same pack.
Go ahead and mute me.
Oh, yeah.
And Corbin just shakes his head and says, you're right. I'll probably never know.
Okay. Hold on. Andreas is fixing something on my iPad.
Yeah, you're good.
There you
go. Okay, he fixed it. Ugh. So, we gotta come up with a quick question. I guess let's ask him about Hadragash. Okay. Art, how are you going to distract him?
Hmm.
You could ask him about his opinion on your makeup.
And
I guess that would be.
and Corbin says, "Yeah, that'll get him hooked." And he like holds up his new little hook hand.
But hey, Mary's gonna do like finger guns at him and go, "Hey."
And he's just got this big stupid
Armin,
smile on his face.
Artemis just has his hand over
Mary,
his head like, God damn it, Corbin.
Mary,
All right, but
like,
that
ooh,
is a good
Art,
that is a good idea.
Art. She's gonna be
Hmm.
like jumping up and down. You could interview him in the tent.
What makes you think he'll go in the tent?
We'll just be like, you want to talk to him about stuff in private and go in the tent. And then, like, basically talk to him about it, like, see if you can pick his brain for goblin knowledge. And then, like, if he starts wanting to leave, like, try to keep him there. And then the makeup is our last option.
Okay.
Okay. I'll let you go up to him first, and then I'll go in.
Okay. Sounds good. Oh God, I'm nervous.
Is that Art saying that, or is that you?
That's me.
Art, as you approach, Gundar is like leisurely laid back on a stack of crates and barrels, his feet off the ground, which is no surprise since he is, maybe just a hair taller than your regular halfling. He's got a crudely carved wooden pipe that he's smoking a particularly foul smelling tobacco out of. And as he sees you approach, he gives you like an awkward, mouthy smile, not showing any teeth, and says, uh, yes.
Uh, Hello there. I was wondering if we can discuss in the tent on some important matters at hand.
Why would we need to discuss it in the tent? And what matters are you referring to?
I was referring to goblin type matters, as I feel like I can hopefully gain a better understanding of them with your knowledge.
Roll diplomacy check.
Shit.
You can do this, Art.
Is that the first roll of the night? Have we been playing for like? No, you rolled the survival to
We
track.
we
Yeah.
rolled survival, but
Fuck.
wait, add your diplomacy.
Uh, six, 6 plus 8, so that's
Oh, you're fairly diplomatic. It's a low
what's
roll
that?
though.
6 plus 8,
14.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He, raises one of his awkward, bushy eyebrows and says, curiosity about my goblins is something that I've gotten used to. And he, glances over at them and says, but I don't see any need to go anywhere to have a discussion about them. He says they don't even understand common, so we'll be okay.
Uh, Alright. It's gonna say, okay, look, buddy. Uh, uh. Shit. I have to think of something.
You're good. You can take a little time to think. Mary, are you going to like wait until you see
Mary's
them
like
disappear
waiting
in the
and
tent,
watching.
or so you're
She's
not
just watching
you're
us
not
all go
making
down.
any movements. You're staying with the rest of your party.
She's kind of waiting, and then like if nothing happens, like if she thinks it's going really bad, she's gonna try to go over there and wingman it.
Yeah, I mean they've been talking for about a minute now, and
Okay.
neither one of them are moving.
Can she make a perception check to see if she thinks it's going good? Like if things are being a bit awkward or not? Like a vibe check?
No, vibe checks require hearing, and they're having a quiet enough conversation far enough away that it's. Not in this instance.
Okay. she thinks something's going wrong. So she's just gonna kind of be sitting there looking at Tim do his thing, look at Art.
Right, yeah. It looks like they're just having a conversation, like a regular ass conversation. But you knew that Art was trying to get him in the tent, and he's just like
He's gonna wait another
his posture, his like body posture is like leaned back on these barrels and stuff. So it's very obvious he does not plan on like moving.
Okay, she's gonna give him like maybe a few more seconds to see if Art can convince him, and then she'll try to waddle over her. And
Okay. Yeah. Art, have you come up with anything to say to your man Gundar here, who's willing to talk to you about the goblins, but doesn't see a reason why he needs to move to do so?
Would the goblins have seen Art's makeup yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you glance over at the goblin cage, like all 4 goblins are pretty intently watching you talk to Art. Or talk to Gundar.
Okay. Then Art is gonna say, look, man, as you can see, I have this makeup on my face. It was because I lost a bet. So I was wondering if we could go inside the tent, just that way it would be less distracting, that the goblins would either snicker or laugh at me. Well, just so I could fully focus my attention on your goblin knowledge.
And he's, kicks back on the barrels, and he says, I don't see how that's my problem. If it embarrasses you, there's a river right there. Go wash it off.
Okay, at this point, I think Mary's coming over.
God damn it. It's like, I can't.
Hey guys, what's happening?
Nothing much.
Says, we're discussing topic of interest. Goblins. What?
Oh, okay. Can't. You're not gonna do that in private, Art?
I'm trying.
Mary, roll a bluff check. Because at that, he's sense motivating that. Because now Art walked up, and the first thing he hit him with was, "Hey, I want to talk with you in this tent." And he's been pretty persistent, and you like wandered over, and like you're not gonna have that conversation in private. What'd you roll?
I didn't roll yet. 15 plus 9, so 24.
Pretty high. I guess you don't have to beat him by 5 because he's not a player.
Yeah, Mary kind of be like, look at Gundar and be like, he's a bit. I don't feel like it's my place to explain reasonings why, but with this kind of stuff, he prefers to talk about it in private.
Well, it was more private before you walked up than after. I don't understand what. I don't understand what was you guys' obsession with privacy? They're goblins. They speak Goblin.
No,
speaking in
it's
common.
not about.
Everybody else is way over there working.
He has had some very traumatic experiences in the past with our battles with goblins. Is the lightest way I will put it. And whenever we talk about them, he prefers to be in a safe and very private environment, which is why I came over, because I was surprised, one, that he was talking to you, just wondering what's happening, and then that he wanted to talk to you about that, but he wouldn't do that in private, if that makes sense, because it makes him really, really, really nervous.
And Gundar's gonna blow a smoke ring rudely in your face and say, "Then you can talk with someone else." And he's like got a very like Huckleberry Finn level of like casual lounging going on right now. He's just being very flippant. Like he's just, it's more like he can't be bothered. Like he's not being mean about it. He's just like, well, you can go talk to somebody else about goblins.
Mary's gonna look at him and be like, okay, I kind of understand. Like you don't, like you're fine with talking to him, but it's out of your way. What if like I do you a favor and you go to the tent to talk to him?
I do you a favor and you go to the tent to talk to him.
Yeah, to meet you halfway. If you're gonna go to the tent and talk to him and have to go out of your way and do this, I'll do something for you to make up for it, because I understand it's a bit of an inconvenience for you.
And he says, well, and like looks at you, he's like, "There's nothing you can do for me." He's like, "I have my goblins to do work." I don't need anything from you. And he's like, and honestly, you're boring me. And he, you know.
Oh shit. Oh, okay. Time to be a whore.
Oh my god.
Cut.
Can Mary
Tim.
like?
Tim. Corbin like turns to you and says, "How do you think it's going?"
Tim is gonna like look over from the sawingest thing, and he's just like, I don't think it's going very good. If I can tell, it's probably going even worse.
Mary's gonna.
And Corbin says, "Well, when it wasn't going well before, Mary went over there to help. So maybe I should go over to help now."
Oh shit! No.
I'll go.
Oh no.
Wait.
Well, then,
Okay.
then I'm just gonna be by myself.
You can continue sawing this log here. Just
And he comes over and he like takes his new hook and he like thunk, like, you know, digs it in, you know, a quarter inch into the piece of wood to like hold it in place. And he like grabs the saw and he's like, "Hey, I can do this now!" And he's like so excited and enthralled to have two working limbs that he's completely forgotten about all the rest of it. He's just like sawing the log away.
Oh goodness.
Okay. Well, how about this? Can
Hold
Art
up.
chime in and tell him something?
Wait.
Oh,
You guys are
just
you guys.
before
This is a meanwhile. You guys have had a minute of conversation with Gundar. While you're having that minute of conversation with Gundar, Corbin has turned to Tim to have this interaction.
Okay. With Gundar and Mary.
Hold on, Tim. Are you done?
Can she roll
Hold on.
Hey,
Hold on, Tim. Are you done?
Are you done?
I believe. Was Corbin off his hand doing this?
What's that?
Is Corbin gonna saw off his hand doing this? Is he doing it really badly?
He's literally never used tools like this before. He's sawing very fast and he's excited.
Oh, okay.
But like one hand is on the saw. The hand that's on the log that would be in risk of being sawn off is your hook hand. It's not. He doesn't have a hand on the log that's in like the danger zone. It's, you know, like I guess he could cut his like torso or arm or something.
Ooh.
You know what? Considering Tim doesn't want any of his handiwork getting messed up, he's gonna like turn back around, seeing that he's doing this really badly, and like, no, you got to do it like this, and like it's gonna take several minutes of like trying to get him the proper
no.
way.
You're gonna show him technique. You're gonna woodshop teacher him.
He's gonna teach him really quick, like a quick 5-minute.
Tim has become the high school shop teacher.
Oh, I love it. Okay, great. That's wonderful. You can take the time to teach Corbin a thing or two, and that will tie you guys up for at least a few minutes of this conversation with Gundar. Mary and Art, I'm sorry, I did forget the last thing you said. Oh, Gundar said, "I'm sorry, you're boring me," and he's just like sitting back there, kicked back.
It's the moment of, do we give him or does Mary try to pour herself into this?
No, hold on. Let me try something.
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay, sorry, we don't need to talk to it in private. Can you at least help us figure out this situation we have going on with what was his name? The tent we were inspecting?
Roy.
Roy, can you at least help us inspect Roy's tent? We have tracings of goblins, but we're not too familiar. We feel like someone with your knowledge could help us out a bit with it if you would like to go inspect it with us.
And Gundar.
Oh wait, can Mary be like, if you do, we can make it worth your while, and like flash a little coin?
Ah, yes, you can. Which will make the difference, and Gundar will look at the coin purse and say, "How worth my while?"
2 coins. Can Mary just like 2 coins? Like 2 gold coins?
Gundar, pass.
What about 5?
It says, closer.
Okay.
Fine, I'll throw in another 5, make it a 10.
And he perks up, pulls the pipe out, you know, taps it out, spits, like hops off the kegs and stands, you know, all of 6 inches taller than Mary, you know, 8 inches taller than Mary, and says, "Well, let's see what we can see then," and holds his palm out, unmoving.
Mary's gonna drop her 5 coins.
And then Art will too.
And he says, all right, lead the way.
All right, as you follow me.
Okay. Mary?
Okay. Mary's gonna stay there.
Who's this tent?
I'm assuming Gundar has followed.
Gundar starts to follow, and he like realizes you aren't coming. He like turns and says, "Aren't you coming?"
Oh no, I got woman's issues.
Bluff check.
Hold on. I keep thinking we're still in the other one, and I go to Google to be like, okay, dice, come on. Hold on. Ooh, oh no, I dropped it. Where'd it go? There it went. It got stuck. Ugh. The one thing nice about Google Dice is they don't get stuck.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting that you trust the Google Dice algorithm, but not the tabletop
8
algorithm.
plus 9, so 14.
14 on bluff. He looks at you and squints his eyes, and he stops, and he looks back and says, I think that the more eyes, the better, don't you? Investigations usually require as much help as possible.
Mary's gonna take off her glasses and be like, trust me, these eyes are not the greatest.
Oh. Okay, Art realizes what's going on. He comes back and he's just like saying, all right, fine, here, I'll show you on the inside while Mary gets ready to show you what we found on the outside. How about that?
Mary's gonna look at Art and go, no, dude, my puss bleeding. I got business to take care of. And she's just gonna walk off.
Don't you realize?
She's
No,
gonna
if
say
I
that
get him,
and she's gonna walk off towards the river.
oh my god, are you serious?
You don't know Mary's like menopause state.
I'm trying to. You guys are always making me go jump. Like I feel like I understand my characters enough to respond to actions. Then you guys do actions that I never thought I'd have to respond to, and
And
I
Mary's
wouldn't know how to respond to that
Mary,
either.
like in the river, kind of like looking like she's getting ready to like, get some water and maybe go off and wash.
So they won't even see that because there is like you have to go down 5-7 feet into the water down like a rocky decline, and so with how small you are, they will lose sight of you before you even hit the water. So you just disappear over the ridge, down into where the water is. And Gundar like turns back to Art and says, "She's a strange one."
A handful, yes, but she is a
Two
mighty
handfuls.
warrior.
Let's get that right.
And he turns and he says, "Is she always that full of shit, or is that something that is just happening today?"
More than you'd like it to. More days than not. But come on, if you'd still like to come, I'd like to show you the tracks that we have found, and maybe you could find something in the tent that we didn't.
Okay. As you guys make your way over to the tent, you get 3/4 of the way there, yeah, and you hear a from behind you, and you turn around, and Gundar is like face down in the dirt, like sprawled out, and he's and he like rolls over dramatically, and like rolls back the other direction, and then stands up just filthy and like brushes himself off, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I lost my balance there."
Art's just gonna turn back and be like, "You okay?"
I'm sorry. He says, "I'm sorry. We were gonna look in the tent."
All right. Just one foot in front of the other. All right, let's go.
And he makes it into the tent with you, and says,
Okay.
and he looks around and he sees, he points out all the stuff that Mary pointed out. He's like, "Well, he left in a hurry." He says, "These are," he gets down and squints. And he says, "These are small prints. So they could be goblins. They could be halflings." He says, "I don't know." And he like points down to his foot, He's like, I don't have very big feet myself.
You know about men with small feet.
And then he says, but there are an awful lot of them. I will give you that.
Okay. I'm assuming while this is happening, can Mary be like trying to go over to one of the goblins?
Yeah. I mean, are you trying not to be seen?
Not particularly.
Okay. Then yeah. I mean, you can. They're inside the tent. Like you could position yourself in such a way that you'd be able to like watch, especially after you heard Gundar fall. You'd be able to like watch them, disappear into the tent. And
that way, she like kind of get it so that she can have view of the tent. So once she sees some ruffle, she can start running.
You can talk to this goblin and have the goblin closest to you and have a view of the tent. But I think that any of the other goblins would probably obscure your vision with either tents or barrels or other cages or what have
Something
you.
be there.
Yeah, so you've already picked the best one to talk to if that's your goal.
Okay.
Hold on, and real quick, Art, is it safe to assume that you're just trying to keep Gundar in the tent for as long as possible?
Yes.
Roll me a diplomacy check, please.
Okay. What the heck? I've been rolling nothing but 9s. This is my second one.
Lost your diplomacy.
That's fine. Well, I guess, yeah. What's your diplomacy?
8, so 17.
17. Go ahead and roll a D12 for me now.
D12. Oh shoot, which one is that?
Andreas. I mean, Charger.
Is that the... That's the one next to the... Okay.
Yeah, it's 6, 8, 0, 12. It's the one right next to the 20.
Oh, what the
no, you dropped.
I was wondering why it wasn't letting me click it.
Bummer.
Here, I'll come in right now.
Yeah, as soon as you roll and I give you the result of that roll, then we'll switch back to Mary.
Okay. Oh, what the heck?
Okay, welcome back.
All right. Here we go.
Oh,
Are you serious?
No. Okay, well then.
What did he roll?
A 1.
He rolled a 1. Actually, those results are actually for me. They will reveal themselves in time. Mary, you can go ahead and have your conversation with your goblin.
She's gonna go. Okay. Hi. In Goblin, I'm like she's saying this in Goblin.
Damn it, Daniel.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, me either.
In the meantime.
Yeah, you're good, Mary.
You're from Goblin clans in this area, correct?
And you're doing this in Goblin?
In Goblin, yeah.
And he, I guess he, she, I don't know, whoever that goblin is closest to you. He looks to you and says, in Goblin, was once. Now Gundars.
You are not.
Clan Gundar.
Clan Gundar. Yeah. Did you guys ever discuss or worship the god Hagergash?
And as soon as you say Hagergash, all 4 goblins begin like hissing through their teeth, like, and like they're all like baring their like pointed teeth and like spitting. And the one closest to you says, "It cannot say its name."
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but taking that as a no, then no.
And he says, "We do not discuss such things with the filth," referring to you.
Oh, what? Why am I filth?
Filthy,
I thought.
filthy gnomes! Filthy gnomes!
Oh. Well, thanks for letting me know. Kind of had some important information for you if you did.
What? What is filthy? No, not important. Not important. Filthy.
I would know about summoning rituals that just happened last blood moon, you know, involving the one and only.
At the sound of blood moon, all of the goblins like begin. It's like it's kind of like when it's like jungle sounds, when like with like screaming monkeys, they like.
Oh, like that.
Right, yeah, and at this, Gundar snaps up, like shoots Art a super dirty look, and like bolts out of the tent.
Mary's gonna start running once they scream.
Gundar comes out and absolutely sees Mary running away.
Oh shit, Mary fell off.
God.
Look at where Mary landed. She ate shit.
Yeah, I can see that. Gundar comes out and begins saying something to the goblins and Goblin that Mary can't hear because she's running away, and Art, it's going to take him at least a second or two to react and follow him out the tent. And the goblins, begin to settle down, and as Art, are you going to follow Gundar, or are you? And Mary, which direction are you running? That's water, bro. So like, you can run this, like you can run this way, or you can run this way.
Mary's just gonna run this way. She's a runner, she's a track star.
Art, what are you
Oh my
doing?
god.
Art?
Art is going to. He'll follow, kind of like he'll meet him halfway, and just be kind of act like, oh, what happened?
Great. Tim, you and Corbin hear this loud ass goblin commotion coming from the cage area, and and you're not able to see that from where you are very clearly working on the wood. What you are able to see is Geely, like the shadow of Geely making his way, but into the camping area.
I think with this, and he's going to be like Corbin's is like, we got other matters to attend to now. It seems so that they're not going to go over there, but they're probably going to be around the pace of Geely or like within earshot.
Okay, so you guys are gonna just make your way back to the general camping area.
Yeah.
Okay. Art asks Gundar what happened, and he sees one of the goblins pointing in the direction that Mary is. And Art, roll me a perception check, please. Hey! Thank you so much for the follow. Oh, apparently I don't have my alert box set up correctly on this one. That is a bummer. I need to look into that and fix it. 3D map, yeah. Sir, I
15
believe
plus
I love
perception.
Yeah,
So 22?
Matter Yoda, it's called Tabletop Simulator. It runs $20 on Steam all day long, and as long as you can find a map online, like everything else is made for free. I've spent no more than $20 on any of these because all the assets are there and stuff. Okay, what was your final, Art?
22?
Yeah, and you see in the direction the goblin's pointing, like Mary's small form, like hiking up her purple skirt dress and like bobbing, running away along the water line, just bolting in the opposite direction.
God damn
Again,
it.
she's a runner, she's a track star.
Art is just gonna, after seeing this, he's just gonna be like, you think, you think, you think the goblins have a high sensory to blood?
To Gundar?
Oh my god, it's like sharks where they're like, if you go in the ocean, don't go on your period.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. Oh gosh. Gundar says, "No, but they are sensitive to scheming little gnomes." And like, there's definitely a hateful edge on his voice.
Shit.
And then you hear Geely's thundering voice from behind you. What in the four hells is going on over here?
God.
A gnome's honor period. He's being rude.
And then Gundar turns and says, "The adventurers you hired are pestering my goblins. They're riling them up. I don't know. They're being assholes." He's very like snappy. He's very like mad about all of this.
Yeah.
In the meantime, can Mary try to roll a sneak to like run and hide?
You are far enough away now that you can now roll into stealth. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
But
Because
you
like
are
I don't.
you are off the board. You are a substantial distance away. If you've been running
He
this whole
really
time.
pulled a runner track star move.
Yeah.
Oh, Andreas, you better draw that. That's hilarious. 18 plus 10, so 28.
Okay, Mary has a 28 for stealth. Great. It will keep in mind you move at half speed at stealth, so it will take you a little while to creep back if that is your plan. And as a second reminder, though you are small, these are all tree stumps and not actual trees, and you do not have a ton of cover coming back here on the flat ground. But there is the river, the rocks, and then the flat ground, and there is a forest all the way back behind this line. Okay, but since she is so far out, I believe it is up to Art to. So Geely asked, "What in the four hells is going on here?" And Gundar said that it was you guys that is going on here.
Shit. Art is just gonna be like, I have no idea. I was just asking Gundar if he would have known any more knowledge about the goblin tracks than we did. Next thing you know, you hear goblins freaking out. All of us were over here.
And
Wow,
and
Mary.
Gundar says, "All of you except that pesky gnome," like pointing off in the direction that he ran, or that she ran in. I'm sorry.
Alright. Oh, shoot. Art will say, again, do gnomes have a high sensory to blood?
You mean goblins?
Alright, oh yeah, got.
I'm
he
seeing
says-
Andreas draw the picture. It's hilarious.
And he says they might, but that gnome is running away in an awfully suspicious manner right after they started screaming. They don't get riled up that easily. I mean, I know they're goblins, but they have been, and he like puffs his chest out, domesticated. Like very proud of his work.
Hurt will say, oh, what if they scared her off?
It's like, I'm sure they did. The question is what she was up to. And
you.
And Geely, says, calm down. I'm sure there's an explanation for it, Gundar. And Gundar snaps back at Geely like, can we get to work now? I'm tired of sitting around. I'm bored. I'm not making any money. And Geely turns to the three of you and says, are you satisfied with your inspection that his goblins are not to blame?
Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll keep looking, keep inspecting.
Art? I'm sorry, Tim.
Oh.
He's gonna say yeah, but he's like obviously he wasn't there for most of it, so
Yeah, but he's addressing you guys as like a party, trying to.
Yeah, he'll say.
Okay. Then Geely turns back to Gundar and nods, and says, "As usual, keep them out of trouble." He says, "No closer than 100 feet to the nearest logger, and stay where I can see you." And Gundar rolls his eyes, as if he's told this every single day, and starts getting to work undoing the cages, letting his goblins out. And after just a couple of minutes, he's gotten them all unlatched, and he leads them all into the like work area over here. Geely turns to you all and says, "Okay, well, I think you found out all you'll find out here." He's like, "Go find my man, bring him back to me, or at least let me know of his fate."
All right.
And he says, "And keep an eye on the little one," as he like walks away.
We're just gonna go back to Tim and Corbin. Like, God damn it.
Let's reconvene with Mary here in a. Let's reconvene with Mary, then we can see what we found out. See what the plan is there.
Wherever she went.
You know the direction she ran in. You saw her take off in that direction.
We'll go after a bit, but Gundar did bring up a point that the footprints we saw could have also been halflings. So, I mean, I don't want to say, but I feel something's very suspicious with him working in tandem with his goblins.
Okay, thank goodness, Daniel. I thought you were bringing it up and like, do you actually believe
I did
Gundar?
too. I was gonna be like, "Are you gonna pull up? Maybe it was the halfling. We don't
No,
know."
Oh man.
no.
That's what I thought you were gonna be, and I was gonna be like, "Oh shit."
Daniel, it was really obvious.
I know.
But Daniel also plays Art super dense, which I really appreciate. Like, Art has definitely been just a big old dummy a time or two, just because that's how Daniel wants to play him, and I think that's great.
That moment of like, I don't know which is it. Is it Art? Daniel is playing Art like that, or Daniel didn't get the kind of obvious like, At first, it was. I would have laughed
honestly,
so hard.
kind of one and the same. Why?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. No, he doesn't seem to like gnomes very well, and because I know Tim heard him like yelling those spiteful remarks, like, and the only other people who don't really like gnomes that much are goblins. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's like working with them. He's like, obviously he's not that far away, so he's like lowering his voice so he doesn't hear.
Right, and Gundar has made his way. We'll say at this point, you guys just waited a minute or two to have your conversation until him and his goblins were out of earshot, so you can have this conversation, more or less safely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess definitely keeping an eye on him. We could definitely continue with the raft, go out and see. But come nightfall, we should probably have someone set up some kind of watch and make sure that he isn't doing anything suspicious with his goblins.
Yeah.
Do you want to go find Mary?
I guess she's gonna have to freaking explain herself on why she foiled my cover up.
You got
Yes,
some
Mary rolled your
explaining.
cover up, foiled your cover up with you rolling a 1.
Yes, it was little old me.
Oh, is that what my one was for?
No, actually, I really don't believe in pulling back the curtain like this and letting you guys know. I believe in keeping the mystery alive more, but in this case, I will reveal it to you. You rolled your first d20 was to determine what size dice you got to roll to see how many minutes you could keep him distracted. And so you rolled fairly well, so you got to roll a d12. So you could have kept him distracted for up to 12 minutes if you had rolled well. But you rolled a 1, which means you were only going to be able to keep him in there for about a minute or so anyway. But Mary made sure that it didn't matter because she brought up such sensitive topics to the goblins that they made so much noise that about a minute in, Gundar was distracted anyway. So, it worked out for everybody.
God damn it.
That results on both parts.
Yeah, it was a bad roll on Daniel's part and bad role play on Mary's part. And bad is obviously a relative term. Not ideal for the player's goals is more accurate, I guess. But anyway, the
We
three of
fucked
you.
around and we found out.
That is Yes, you fucked around and you found out. You guys make your way up to the, in the direction that you saw Mary, and, you only get about 20 feet out from base camp, and, Mary, you see these guys approaching you, and I'm assuming you're going to make yourself known to them?
She's gonna stay hidden, but go like, peace. Peace.
You guys hear Mary's
like
voice coming from a shrub, about 15 feet off to the left.
she's gonna go,
Art,
meet me in the woods. As she tries to run off into like more wooded, dense area.
Yeah.
what the? Art just walking casually, not even like trying to hide. He's like, what the? What is that? Are you just gonna be like, you need some explaining to do?
Okay. I assume like but just let me know once we get to the woods.
Yeah, I mean, 3 minutes of walking. You guys are very
Yeah,
near the
Art.
forest. You'll be
Okay.
deep
Art.
enough in the woods.
Okay. What's his face, Gundar? I'm hella suspicious.
Well, Art's just gonna be, what the heck did you talk with the goblins? What made you
Okay.
set them off like that?
Well, basically, I had asked them if they were from this region, and they are. And I went, "Oh, do you happen to like know? Did you guys worship that one god?" And they got ticked because they said I can't say his name and started calling me gnomish slurs, being like, all that. And I said, "Well, I just wanted to know because like heard about info on it, like rituals happening, and they like wide-eyed got freaked out once I mentioned that there were rituals." But the thing is, remember when he fell, like, all dramatically and shit?
You didn't see that. You
Do
were
you remember?
off. No,
Oh.
Mary didn't see that. She was off.
No, you said I saw it.
You saw him. Yeah, I mean, you saw him on the ground. You heard him fall, looked up, saw him on the ground, but you were off. You were specifically walking towards the water, and I mentioned there was a drop off, and you'd have to drop down off the drop off and then turn around to see him once you heard him fall.
Yeah, she did.
Mary was too far away to know the dramatic nature of the fall.
Oh, well, she's okay. Can she just say he fell?
Yes.
Okay. Remember when he fell?
Yeah, that was kind of strange. I just thought he lost his balance.
Where did he fall, though? Like, he fell right outside the tent, right?
Yeah. It was it was like,
where a bunch of goblin footprints were that we were a bit suspicious about because it was near his goblins.
huh. And Art's
And
just gonna
then
be like,
what did he say when he went in the tent?
that they could have been halflings.
Can Mary, like, with her like good survival roll, could she tell that they were 100% goblins?
I already gave that to you. Yeah, you know they're
Okay,
goblins for
he
sure.
was like, bullshit. Those could not have been halflings. Us gnomes and halflings, our feet are different. Trust me, and trust and believe. Those were goblin things, goblin feet. And he, I bet, would know that those are goblin feet. Working with goblins 24/7, they look real different. Like, Mary's gonna take off her little shoe and be like, okay, look at my feet.
Wiggling the toesies.
These wiggling the toesies. Halflings have like a not too far off foot from this. Goblins, though, very different track. It would be obvious to him, as a person who works with goblins, that those were not like halfling track. So let's do this. He doesn't want to leave his goblins. He doesn't like people talking to him. Those goblins freaked out when they hear the name Hagagash. He falls right outside the tent where we were looking at tracks over a pile of tracks, which, what's his name? I can't remember the dwarf in charge. Gilir? Gili. Where Gili was like, those could have been from his goblins, because they congregate and whatnot. Like, who's to say he's not doing this shit? He could be in league.
And
what if?
Corbin's going to say that.
What if?
Sounds reasonable to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
They said that they were part of his clan, Clan Gundar. When I asked, because that they were with him. Who's to say he doesn't worship Hagergash and he's in league with another group of goblins and is sending them sacrifices?
Would Tim, because Tim knows about goblins, would Tim find it suspicious that they refer to it as Clan Gundar? Like, is there?
That's normally goblins get. It's common within goblin culture for goblins to get taken captive, but they don't usually refer to their captor as, like that new society as a clan, like a clan of 5 goblins or 4 goblins. How many are there? 4. Yeah, a clan of 4 goblins is not, and a leader is not a clan. Like that's a weird terminology for sure.
Tim is absolutely like, ears are gonna perk up hearing Clan Gundar. It's like, you refer to them as a clan?
Yeah, because I asked, you guys are from this area, right? Like, did you run with the clans in this area? And they go, no, we're not a part of any clan. Well, now we're Clan Gundar.
And Tim is going to say that, they were taken captive wouldn't necessarily mean that they start referring to themselves as Clan Gundar. There's something, it takes more than just being captured to create a clan, so there's obviously something else that we're missing here.
But either way we spin it, I think Gundar is up to some shit.
Should we bring up this information to Gili, or should we try to find more evidence?
I think we're on thin ice right now,
Yeah.
so we should probably have a rock solid case before we go back to Gili.
Honestly,
Alright.
they're gonna look and be like, I don't want to get near those fucking goblins again. I don't trust them. I don't trust Gundar not to fuck with me now.
Hmm.
Gonna fuck up my menopause.
Could we maybe try to inspect Gundar's tent?
Probably not now. The camp's not really all that big.
Corbin says, yeah, but didn't we just watch him take his goblins to go work? Isn't there nobody at the campsite right now?
Mary's gonna look at Corbin and go, you're a genius.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Mary's gonna stay hidden in the bushes though. She's gonna get to the camp, but she's staying fucking hidden. She ain't going in that camp no more.
So you're specifically not going into camp.
Not going into camp, but like the outskirts, so she can like look from afar.
Yeah, where you are now is probably maybe behind this, stack of wood or something. Would be, as close as you could get to be able to like see down into the camp a little bit and also remain hidden.
Okay.
Gentlemen?
Art's all excited by all these new discoveries. I think he's just gonna want to head.
What? Wait, what'd he do?
He just said Art is very excited, so he's gonna go see what he can see. And I think that's great. Tim and I guess Corbin's me. Tim?
Tim is going to try to keep an eye on the goblins and also, what's his name?
Gundar?
Gundar. Keep an eye on them, making sure that they're like coming back or everything.
That'll mean that you'll have to walk past. You'll either have to come all the way down through camp and walk around the wood piles, to stand like basically near Gili, or you'll have to go behind back here to to be able to keep an eye on them because they're out working on. This is Gundar here, so he's working. The map's not quite big enough, but he's like 50 feet out from this mark. Him and his goblins working on some stuff.
Oh, perfect. So Tim is going to be like to marry or
To Art?
To Art. If you hear logs falling, that's your cue to get out. I'll try to make it obvious, and he's going to go back to finishing up. He's going to work on the raft right there where he was.
Cool.
Okay.
And Corbin's going to just turn to Tim and say, "Team Wifflebonker."
Wifflebonker as he holds up and hits him in the forearm with his forearm.
Cool.
Team Wifflebonker.
Oh my
Team
god,
Wifflebonker is a go.
Dave and Andreas matching t-shirts that say Team Wifflebonker. And then me and Daniel, we could get Sneaky Queens.
Sneaky Queen.
Okay, all right. This is Gundar's tent.
Okay. Before our can I roll for stealth?
Yes, you can. It's a good idea to do that. Even.
All right.
Dun,
Gotcha.
dun, 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 dun,
Come on.
dun,
Ooh,
dun,
14.
Plus your stealth.
24.
Excellent. I am going to pick this up in just like 2 or 3 minutes. My bladder is full. I've been drinking a lot of water over here, so I'm going to go empty that. It'll be a super short break, and we'll be back in like 5 or less.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep. Be right back, guys.
I'm making us custom t-shirts, Daniel. Sick.
And chances are they're going to be playing music loud outside, and I don't know if that'd be a good idea.
All right, guys, I'm back.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience. Oh shit, I should have refilled my water while I was up. It's okay. We're only going for another hour. I think I'll be okay. Okay.
T-shirts are coming out amazing.
It's like a 3-minute break. How do you already have a shirt put together?
Because I like this is my shit, Dave.
Okay.
Okay.
So Mary is watching the campsite. Is that correct?
Mary's watching the campsite. Yeah.
So like from Geely to the water to the cages to the ridge. Like that's the area you're kind of focused on.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Tim, where are you positioning yourself where you can see past all this wood?
Okay. So initially I was working right here, right?
Yeah, I mean these two logs is what I assumed you were sawing. Is like these guys right here.
Okay. Can you like look through at general area any place where Gundar is?
Yeah, I mean, he can walk along this deal and like poke his head out because these are just carts, so they're not. Gundar's a short guy, but the carts are not super. The wheels have spokes, but you can see through them. And you can see Gundar, 80 feet off, working with, not specifically not working, lounging on a stump, smoking his pipe while his goblins work.
Okay, I'm assuming it's a thing of like him and Corbin are like taking turns and like every so often like popping their head over a thing and you're trying to like sneak a look at
Cool.
Gundar.
Yeah, roll me a perception check, please, which will represent your half of the looking duty.
$16.
Tim, 16 for perception. Great. So you guys are, working more slowly on the raft because you're taking shifts, basically keeping an eye out for Gundar. But you are able to both, get a little bit more work done on your raft and keep an eye out for Gundar. Mary is watching the camp. Art is sneaking his way through the camp. These cages are empty, as a reminder, and you're heading to Gundar's tent.
Yeah.
Cool. The tents they're like regular tents with tent flaps, so I'm just gonna go in.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Reflex save, please.
Oh, reflex. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Ooh,
What'd you roll?
a 2.
Oh no.
Does anyone have inspiration?
No, I freaking used my
No.
inspiration to try to throw you across the river.
And Mary used her inspiration the session before, trying to punch Tim in the balls. I'm sensing a common theme here.
God damn
And
it.
does Tim have inspiration?
No, he gave his away to Mary, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, we're fucked.
At the end, okay,
Wait.
so I was just watching the video for the last session, and I asked about inspiration, and at the beginning of last session, Tim had inspiration. So, Tim, did you use your inspiration at any point in the last session?
He might have given it to someone.
I don't think you did.
Because I know you started last session with it, but I click through those videos and don't watch every second. So if you used it, I might have missed it.
Because you didn't give it to Mary.
But it's also up to Tim to track that. So if he doesn't have it written down, I have inspiration. He doesn't have inspiration.
Oh,
No, because if I said that in the beginning of the session, as it stands now, I have a little inspiration tab and it's at 0, so I'm trusting that, unfortunately.
Okay. It is up to you guys to track stuff. If it does not make it to your character sheet, you do not have it. So, no, nobody has inspiration. You rolled a 2 on that reflex save. What's your final? Because I know you have a reflex mod.
Yeah, 11.
It's not bad, but...
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you were stuck with 2.
Oh no. It's just, low rolls,
So, he pulls back the tent flap and realizes that there is a string tied to the inside of the tent flap, which, runs along to like a metal cone, basically. And as you pull back the flap, the cone ignites, and there's a significant boom, and you take 7 points of bludgeoning damage as all these bits, like little, like metal and bone bits that looks like there's like bones, chicken wings from old dinners, and some like parts of nails, and it's basically the goblin version of a claymore that has gone off. Tim, Corbin, and Mary all hear this sound.
I do have a question. Does it sound like Tim? Does it sound like Tim's bombs?
It sounds Tim knows that black powder was involved in this process.
Okay, he is gonna like look up real quickly and see Gundar. With Gundar.
Who has heard the sound and has left his goblins and is sprinting back towards the campsite.
The moment he sees them sprinting, Tim is going to light one of his bombs, and just like
Hold it and let it detonate.
yeah, he's gonna hold it and let it detonate in his hand.
In his hand.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say that in that case, your feat that lets you negate where a bomb blast happens does not apply because you're choosing not to let go of it. I'm gonna say that because it goes off in your hand, you're also automatically going to be on fire at the end of it. And these are all consequences that Tim would know. So I will ask you again, Tim, is this what you want to do?
Would he could drop it in front of himself, right? And not take damage. Yeah, he's gonna drop it in front of himself and let it blow up in front of him.
Okay.
With these. Shoot, how many tiles was it? It was the intelligence modifier. 3. Okay. You're gonna drop it right here.
Okay.
And then these tiles for protection.
1, 2. Where's your third?
Right there.
3. Okay. Great. So this is 1. I'm rolling my d8. 1, which is a safe tile. So does it defer to the? I think it's just safe. Okay. So the bomb goes off. It was angled because you weren't under duress. You did it fast, but there's not an enemy in your face. You made it a point to turn it and spin it so that the fuse side where it was going to explode out, was facing in a safe direction. And there's a second deafening blast that goes off, and this tile is a burnin'. Is a burn a baby a burn?
Tim is going to. It really would have been easier to have him blow up in his face. Honestly, he had the hit points. Tim is going to yell out in pain.
Okay. Roll me a performance check, please. Back to Art. What are you doing, bud?
Or after
You just had this
getting
thing
this,
blow up in your face. Takes you a second or two to adjust, and you realize that you have set off a trap.
Art's gonna go. Oh, what the hell? He's gonna kind of first look over to see if anyone. Can I do a perception check to see if anyone heard it or
Yeah, just looking over your shoulder, you can see Geely has turned and is making his way towards you.
Fuck.
All right, I'm gonna use the untrained re-roll and see if I get a slightly better one.
Okay.
Take the first one. 13. 13 total.
For your performance. Tim cries out in pain. So Art turns his head. Here's what faintly might be Tim crying out in pain. He doesn't really know. His ears aren't working super great right now. His eyes work fine. He does see Geely turn his head and walk along the tent line to Tim, and then start hollering, "God damn it! This is a logging camp. Put the fucking fire out. What are you doing?"
Are we with Art or Tim right now?
That's Tim. That's Tim.
Okay. So and Geely's walked over to Tim.
Geely has he's rounded the corner here, and he's
What about Gundar?
He's standing here. We'll get there.
No.
Geely started off closer, so Geely's here first. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's gonna Tim is going to be like, sorry, Stray Spark caught one of my bombs and blew up.
He's like, you have bombs? You've been walking
I'm
around a place with piles of dry timber with bombs in your pocket?
It's normally fine. I don't usually have to worry about static electricity like I do with the saw here.
Gila like makes his way over. He's like stomping at the little bits of flame that are still up where your bomb detonated. He's like, God damn it! Okay, now Art, you've seen Gili come down, hear Tim. He made eye contact with you. He saw you, undoubtedly. But Tim's cry of pain was enough to like get him off track and distract him.
Okay. Ah. Mm. Oh man, I really hope that's the only trap, because Art doesn't have a lot of time. Or how much time does he really have?
I have no idea.
Ah shit.
All Art knows is that he went to go sneak into this tent. He set off a bomb. It was loud enough to attract Gili's attention, and for whatever reason, Gili is not coming over to the tent. That is the extent of what Art knows about the situation.
Okay, Art's just gonna go back into the tent.
Okay, sounds good. Using the same flap that had already set off the trap, Art goes back into the tent, closes the flap behind him, and looks around, sees the remains of the trap, and then also sees that this is a like particularly filthy tent. There's like bits of old food, and like when when the bomb went off, you felt something like crawl over your foot that you suspect was like a rat of some kind. And it stinks in here. Like it stinks bad. Like Gundar has not bathed in weeks. Um, you know, and there's a small footlocker at the end of the makeshift bed.
Hmm. Uh, can I? Was it? Can I roll a perception on the footlocker? Make sure there's no traps or.
That is detect traps, and yes, you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a skill we always forget about.
I know. Well, I didn't think someone would be able to rig a tent.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What's your final?
I would. You said trap finding.
Yeah, it's a trap finding.
It's a trap.
Or it might
Perception trap.
It might be detect trap. I'm not sure what it's called in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I have perception trap finding.
That's the one. That's the one for sure.
Oh. Plus 10, so 12.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll kind of go into it.
The lid doesn't open. Mary, you see Gundar now running through the space where Gili was, and there's probably about one round until he gets to the tent. 6 seconds or less.
Mary is going to shriek in pain and cut her leg. She gonna cut.
Cool. Roll me a performance, I guess.
Okay. She's gonna try to see if something. Okay, did it go? Okay, there it goes. Thank goodness she actually has points in performance. Hold on, let me find it. Where is it? 8?
Gundar does not even turn his head.
Well, that was sorry, buddies.
Also, I mean, if you cut your leg bad enough to bleed to warrant that scratch, roll me a d4, please.
Is that the triangle?
That's a triangle.
Okay. I'm just gonna click that one to do it.
I thought of something else I could have done.
2.
You take 2 damage.
Okay.
God damn it. That. Okay. So
65. Tim, what's your perception before you add anything to it? What's your flat perception skill?
8.
You hear an exclamation of some sort, and Corbin looks up and says, "I think that was Mary." And Geely turns and says, "God damn it! Does she have bombs too?"
No,
Surprisingly, no.
I'm the only one with bombs. Tim is going to very quickly ask, "Do you trust Gundar?"
He says, "I don't." He's like, "Gundar." He's like, "Gundar's the least of my concerns. They haven't been trying to blow up my damn camp." Okay. So then that is about right for that. Then we'll go back to Art. You tried the lid on this, and it's locked. What's your perception score before you add anything to it?
my perception is 7.
You from inside the tent don't hear any exclamations or anything of the sort, and so you had tried the lid on the footlocker, and it did not open.
Damn. Hmm. Let's see. Okay. There's no way for the art to leave the back of the tent, is there?
Of course there is. It's a tent.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't like a weird tent. I guess Art will take the footlocker with him and try to sneak through the back of the tent.
Okay, the footlocker is not so big that you wouldn't be able to pick it up and carry it, but it is big
Oh, no.
enough that it would be awkward, and it
Yeah.
will probably slow you down. Do you still want to do that?
Uh, damn. I'm trying to play out the situation of like.
Is this a good idea or not?
It's up to you, Art. You're all by yourself in there. It's all you, buddy.
Yes, I'll take it with me.
Roll me a strength check.
Come on.
Thank God this wasn't Mary.
Oh, Mary probably couldn't even lift it.
Yeah.
9. Where would my strength be?
It's your modifier next to your strength.
Oh,
skill.
okay, yeah. Oh shit! Just plus what's a 10?
10's enough to get it up off the ground and get it out of this tent, but you are, despite the fact that you're trying to run, you're probably only moving at your standard movement. So, what's your movement? 30 feet?
I believe so. Let me see. Speed walk 20 feet.
20 feet. Okay, so that's how far you can go while you're encumbered with this chest with that strength check in this round. So you can move yourself another 4 tiles out of this place.
Damn. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Damn, there's not really anywhere I could go with it.
Keep in mind,
I guess.
Art doesn't know he can only move 4 squares. So, think about where Art would ultimately try to go, and then just move him in that direction, I think, is probably your best bet.
Okay. Art. You know what? I think Art will just try to maybe he'll go over here towards the more open area.
So you're gonna 1, 2, 3, and then where? Where are you gonna go for 4?
I guess just right here.
Cool. Great. Gundar bolts into the main camp zone and points to you, Artemis, and says, "Thief! Thief!" And to which Geely turns to Tim and Corbin and say, "Oh my God, is it that fucking gnome again?" And begins to make his way out. He stops as soon as he can see, what's going on, and he calls out to you, Art, and says, "Hey, hold there!" Mary, you see all of this going down from your bird's eye view, and Tim, are you gonna follow Geely?
Yes.
Well, Mary's only up. No, Mary.
Mary's gonna stay hidden.
Yeah. There ain't nothing Mary can do about this.
Okay. Fuck. So then, I guess Art, what are you doing next?
Or we'll try to call out for. He can see Geely, right?
Yeah.
He'll try to call out for Geely. He'll be like, "Come over here." We have reason. Or go ahead.
No, I feel it's too late. You go. We're fine.
Okay, he's just no, it's fine. All right, all right. It's just gonna be like, we have reason to suspect that Gundar is was it in cahoots with your missing person case.
And you get as far as Gundar is in cahoots before he closes the gap, grabs, onto the chest with both hands, and then does that thing where he's holding onto the chest. He brings both feet off the ground and plants them solidly in your midsection, trying to pull the chest away from you. Roll a strength check, please.
Oh God, come on. Oh.
Nice. That is definitely a higher roll than he managed. So you are able to maintain grip of the chest. You feel him land this kick, and it definitely knocks the air out of you for a minute. But you tighten your grip on the chest, and it goes your full arm extension out before you pull it back in and realize that and you lift the chest up, and Gundar's feet are off the ground. You're doing that thing where you're shaking the chest, but he's not letting go of it, just wiggling underneath, and he says, "That's mine! You can't have it! Give it back to me!" And Geely makes his way over and says, "That's quite the accusation, and you all have done nothing but make accusations and stir up my workers and their workers since you've gotten here. You better have some damn good evidence."
Okay. All right, go ahead, Tim.
I guess in terms of solid evidence, Tim's gonna flip through his notebook and on the goblins and start talking to Geely and saying how, with talking to the goblins, they refer to him as Clan Gundar, and you don't refer to someone as part of your clan if they're just captive. It takes a lot more. You need to be much more involved in goblin society to be referred to as a clan. And you also don't get clan. A clan is not 5 members. It is much more than that. You need more people. So we have reason to believe that not only is he with the goblins, that there are more of them, and that he either helps or is in contact with.
Roll me a diplomacy check, please. And then I guess I need to wait for the results of that.
Give me 1 second. We're using the dice Ty got me.
Oh, okay.
Glow in the dark dice.
Glow in the dark dice.
Let's hope these work out.
They rolled an 11 before, so it'll at least be hopefully better than that.
You can do. Get you that bucket.
18. The final diplomacy is going to be dirty 20.
So Gundar turns to you and says thoughtfully, yes, that does admittedly sound strange. And he says, what makes you an expert on Goblin society?
I was a college professor at Port Saucus. I know my way around. And I've been traveling to learn about different societies. I think I know a thing or two about goblins.
And he, and he turns to Gundar and say, can you explain this? And Gundar, still holding on to this footlocker, is being like, make him put it down first! And Geely, looks up at you, at Art, and says, we did catch you red-handed in the act of theft, and you're going to have to answer for that, and I suggest you put that down.
Okay. Art will put it down, and he'll go, well, as you heard from Tim, that we think Gundar over here is building a clan of goblins. Not only did he try to cover his tracks by outright what's the word? Outright discourage is it he basically tried to say that the tracks we found were not from goblins but from halflings, which is pretty outrageous, as they definitely are from goblin. And
to which Gundar turns to you and says, they're just small prints, what do you know? You and that filthy gnome! And takes the footlocker and walks it over to his tent and chucks it inside the tent.
It was the bot. Did Mary hear the filthy gnome?
Oh yeah.
Mary is going to appear, and she's going to hobble down, still with her little bleeding blood on her dress, and hobble down to the boys.
Okay. Geely is going to have time to respond to that, because you are all the way up on the hill. So Geely's going to turn to you, to you three who are still here, and say, and it's just he's got very much the body language of a dad of 7 kids at the end of a holiday, vacation, and everybody's getting on each other's nerves, and they're always, and he's trying to mediate between them, and he's like, okay, stop, and he's got his head in his in his hand, he's rubbing his temples, and he's like, okay, I am losing men and need help finding out the cause. He says, you all seem convinced that it's Gundar and his goblins, but you told me literally 20 minutes ago that you did not, because he's talking to you guys who aren't married, that you did not think that Gundar's goblins are involved. He says, the gnome who calls herself Dixie, bullshit name, has been lying to me since you guys got here. And he's just I don't know what to do here. And he looks at you and he says, I know that you're a thief though. He says, that is undeniable. And he points to you, Art. And he says, you are taking private property from my workers. He's and that at least I know. And Gundar's crossing his arms.
Tim turns to him asks, because they told him about whenever they went to the course, they kind of pooled their knowledge of stuff that came together as so I think he would know that Gundar had pointed out those tracks, right? The ones that were on the way to the cages, right?
I'm sorry, one more time about those tracks.
Tim would know that like Gundar had pointed out those tracks, right? And he would know where they are or where they were.
So what Tim would know, because you guys pooled it, you would know that Gundar fell because Mary talked about that.
Sorry, not Gundar, Gili. That Gili had to like point out whenever they were looking at the tracks.
I'm still okay. One more time. So, what are you trying to know if Gili knows, or if you know to tell Gili? What do you ultimately do you want to do here?
Ultimately, I want to point out to Gili that the tracks that he had seen earlier were closer to the cages are no longer there, and that both Mary and Art can attest to the fact that Gundar fell and covered them.
Gundar shrugs and says, "I'm clumsy." And Gili turns to you and says, "And all three of us are standing right on top of where those tracks were anyway. So, I fail to see your point."
Is at this point has Mary waddled up?
Yeah. You can make your appearance now.
Okay, Mary makes her appearance. Hold on, someone's not.
I heard it.
After. Alright, I'll just wait till Mary.
Yeah. Give her. She's been quiet and sitting up at the top. We'll give her a chance for some dialogue here.
Okay, Mary kind of appears. She points. She goes, and no, she doesn't point. She's kind of like look at Gleer and be like, "I understand this is a lot. And I also understand that I kind of lied to you at the beginning, but we did have a reason. My name is not Dixie. It's Mary. Now, I do now believe that Gundar, it may be not his goblins directly, but definitely Gundar himself is involved in this. Let's kind of walk you through. As you said, didn't think we believed him at first that he was involved with it. From our first communications, he was very nice to me. He was very friendly. Everything was going good. Art took him to the opinion. He blatantly stated those footprints were halflings. I don't know about you. Halflings, gnomes, our feet are small, but they don't look like goblins. So outright a lie. He dramatically, randomly falls in the one point where these footprints are and rolls around. Not just falls and
again,
gets
Mary.
up.
Again, Mary, you did not see that.
But Art told me.
Did he? He said he fell. I don't think he said anything about rolling around.
Didn't you, Art? Did you or did you not? We can.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't think so.
I think I just said
details I've been tracking. If you can tell me exactly when you talked to her, then I will let it go. But if you can't remember telling her,
because I remember when we were all gathered up over here, when Mary brought up that he fell, I was like, I think I said something along the lines of, I can't remember if I said like he rolled around. I don't think.
Pretend that the roll around was not there. Anyway, he falls on the tracks. Tracks are gone. No more tracks there. I'm talking to his goblins. They're referring to me as a dirty gnome. I get that. Goblins hate gnomes. Why does Gundar refer to me as a dirty gnome? Why do they call themselves Clan Gundar? Why is that happening? Plus, Art, what blew up in his tent?
Before Art replies, I just want to, because I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk without being interrupted, but Gundar is absolutely interrupting you as you're trying to get through this. Like, you're saying like, oh, the footprints, could be, he's like, an outright lie. And he's like, a thief calling me a liar, and talking about, the footprints being the wrong size. He says, they're all small prints. You talking about him falling down. He defends himself. He was like, I'm clumsy. It's like, but he's pointedly like not sitting there quietly for all of this. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to get through your speech before I interrupted you like 7 times. Okay, yeah. So now Mary has said, and Art, something. What happened in there?
When I went to go open his tent, a bomb blew up in my face that seemed to be a makeshift bomb from Goblin technology, that looked like it was made by goblins.
And Gili, looks at you and says, "That is strange." And Gundar says, "See, and he's like fucking hysterical at this point. He's like, he admits to breaking into my tent." And Gili, says that, as I told the little one earlier, Gundar can do what he likes with his property, including deciding how he wants to protect it. However fruitless that attempt might be, he's like raising an eyebrow and looking at Art. And he says, though, and he says he looks at Gundar and says, although I am curious why you have goblin traps in your tent. And Gundar, turns back to him and says to keep people out who should not be in it. And like looking over at Art and Mary, and admittedly like Tim and Corbin, you guys have been quiet. Gundar has not had a lot of interactions with you guys. A lot of his anger is definitely directed at Mary and at Art.
Mary's gonna look at him and be like, "But why do you call me a filthy gnome?"
And he says, "Because you are one." Is fucking mad. Art?
Art will say, look, even with all this evidence, I feel like we can get a closer look, and if he'll be willing, but if not, that could incriminate him more to see what is in his footlocker. That I feel like has some very suspicious information that he's withholding from us.
Roll me a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy.
Can Mary help at all with this diplomacy check or no?
Nope, this is Art. Art is defending himself here for why he's in the process of stealing stuff.
Art defended himself good.
Plus 8 is 23?
24?
Yeah, 20.
Or, 23.
23.
And Gili looks at you and sighs and says, "Well, while Gundar's property is his own," he says, "we have to trust each other here, and I think an inspection of property is not out of line." To which Gundar's like super, like angry about, and is, talking, is like pleading with Gili, like, but it's my property. I've been working you for all this time. This and that, and he rolls extremely well. And Gili looks like he's, looks like he said that, and he like backpedals a little bit, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess it is your property." And
Mary's gonna look at him and just go, "Are you willing to take the risk?"
And
we could be wrong, and if we're wrong, I will personally apologize and we can leave. Are you willing to take the risk after everything that's happened, after Clan Gundar, after racial things about gnomes, which is specifically a goblin thing, after covering tracks, after goblin bombs in his tent? Are you willing to take the risk?
And Gili stops you and says, "Speaking of bombs," and like turns to look at Tim and says, "Very unfortunate timing of your bomb accidentally going off, wasn't it?"
Mary's gonna be like, "Yeah, I get that. I don't know what happened there, but
I'd like to hear again from him how exactly that happened.
He dropped it."
I'll take a second here to figure out what Tim would say.
Mm-hmm. You only have a second or two, but you can take a second or two to figure out what Tim would say. Get yourself in Tim's shoes.
See, it's either I go with, I say it was an accident and I leave it up to the dice.
Mm-hmm.
Could roll with tithe dice.
Yeah, but it's the thing if you don't want it to decharge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Tim's gonna say unfortunate coincidence.
Okay, roll a bluff check.
All right, I'm even like actually laughing.
Charging them. He's charging the die.
All right, don't fail me. Get something okay.
Come on. Plus your bluff. Plus your
It's
bluff.
a minus.
Well, shit. Never mind.
It's a 7.
He raises an eyebrow at you quite suspiciously and says, "Unfortunate indeed." And he says, "I think that I would like to hold on to your satchel while you're in my camp moving forward, if you're prone to such accidents." And he like holds out his hand for your bomb satchel.
Fuck it, Tim has an ace. Okay, you didn't give it to him.
And he takes it and he slings it over his shoulder and he like opens it up to inspect it and he like pulls one of your bomb vials out and like, you know, like looks at it to see how it's, you know, corked and stuff and carefully places it back where he got it. And then turns back to Art and says, "All right, I've decided. We'll crack open the footlocker. If you're right, then I will let your thievery slide in the spirit of allowing you to do the job you were sent here to do." He said, "Should you be wrong," he says, and he gestures over to the goblin cages and he says, "It's going to be an uncomfortable week for you."
Oh God.
Ooh.
Are
Alright.
you gonna become the goblin's bitch?
Well, I'm already wearing the makeup.
Oh my god!
Art will go over and shake his hand. Deal.
You're gonna be their prison mouse.
Okay, let me think about here. So Gundar's still pretty upset, and he looks up, he looks around and says, "Damn, my goblins!" And he just like makes off back in the direction that he came originally, and Geely, calls after him, but he is just booking like towards his goblins.
God damn it.
Mary's gonna get ready. She's going to aim her crossbow and open the case.
It's inside the tent. I mean, it's going to take longer to get the tent out and all that stuff. So you can either shoot at Gundar as he runs away from you, or you're going to be one of those things where you keep your crossbow pointed at him while he, disappears around a corner.
She'll just aim at him, but not shoot.
Okay. You lose sight of him in a couple of seconds as he disappears along the corner, behind the tents and the wood piles and all that stuff. Hold on. Control Z. No. All right. So Gundar.
The ice cream truck is playing "Sleep in Heavenly Peace" right now.
What's that?
There's an ice cream truck outside, and it's playing "Sleep in Heavenly Peace."
Yeah, our ice cream trucks have the weirdest tunes that they play.
Heck yeah.
Gundar is gone. You guys have pulled out Gundar's footlocker, and it's locked. And Geely turns and looks at Art and says, "I don't suppose you know how to get something like this open." He says, "The kind of person who would blatantly take it also strikes me as the kind of person who would know what to do with it if he got away."
Let me see.
You're a rogue, right? You should have a lockpicking skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should have one.
Hopefully you put points into it.
Luck.
Did you put?
I thought I did.
Have you not put any points in lockpicking?
Knowledge, religion, knowledge, local, history, geography. Oh my God, did I not?
Oh my
Mary.
I
Hold
thought
on,
that's
I
something.
don't think we have a lockpicking skill.
No, what's it called? Maybe it's disabled device. I think might be
It's
what.
disabled device.
Okay,
I was
that's what it
gonna
is.
say,
That's
wait
what it is.
Okay.
It's disabled device.
Yeah, okay, yeah, disabled device. I have it in 9.
Okay. So roll D20. Disable device check. D20 plus 9.
Okay. 11, so dirty 20.
As you pull out your tools and you begin to work away at the lock, Geely kind of chuckles and scoffs, and very quickly You finish this lock, pop it open, and inside are a couple of like vials of mystery fluid. But they look to Tim suspiciously like potions.
And Tim, can them identify them?
Yes, but not immediately.
Okay.
It'll take you some time, unless you have an identify spell as part of your deals.
From what I don't know if it might not matter here, but I know that the craft alchemy check can be used to identify potions.
Okay. Okay, so you can pull those out and roll roll that check absolutely to see if you know what they are. That
Okay.
sounds logical to me. I want to finish describing what's in it though. There is also a pair of daggers. There is an old, ragged set of clothes that look almost exactly like what the goblins wear. And there is a disguise kit.
The human?
What's that?
Andreas, identify that potion.
Great rolls. I wish I had gotten them for the saving my bombs. Let me double check the final thing. But it's going to be 26 and 28.
They are 3 potions of sleep.
Hell yeah! Tim's gonna take not take those, but Tim's gonna pull out the one that he has and he's gonna show it to Gundar and show him the other ones. Like, this is a potion of sleep. These are exactly the same. This is how he's taking people without any fight. He's potioning them, making them fall asleep.
You said Gundar. I know you meant Gili, and he turns to you and he holds them and he looks at them, and his eyes go wide, and he turns back to you guys and says, "Where exactly did you see those tracks again?"
Mary's going to point towards them. We saw them here and towards the river, and point at the river.
And where was that first here?
Point other side of the river. They came over to this tent, and then point to where the tents where Gundar did the roly thing, and then back over, and they went that way towards the river.
He'll look down and look over, and say, "For house," and turn his head and say, "I bet he's long gone now." And he turns and he begins like briskly walking towards the job site. Are you guys gonna follow him?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he gets there, and the rest of his workers are like huddled around talking with each other. And he walks up and says, "What happened to Gundar?" They're like, he ran that way, and he points in the direction that you guys had headed off the night before, and say, "I lost track of his goblins. I'm not sure where they went." And then Gili, looks pretty defeated, and he says, I know that you all had your concerns, and I insisted that we need the help." And he his shoulders slump, his neck, his head's pointed down, very defeated, and he says, "But I was wrong." He says, I think that you were all right. It was a terrible idea to let any goblins in, even for the work they did." And he turns around and says, "These adventurers," he said, "have
That's right.
have my support, and you guys are to cooperate with them for any questions they ask, and we're all going to take the rest of the day off." And they're like, "Oh shit, we're gonna take the rest of the day off. We're still getting paid for the day, right?" And he's like, Of course you're gonna get paid for the day." He said, and he just drops his axe. He's like, "I can't do this today."
Oh my god.
He makes his way into his tent and just disappears. And the rest of the workers are standing around, kind of looking at each other, shrugging, and they look up at you guys and say, "Did you need to know anything from us?"
I think, unfortunately, do have to cut it a little early here, and I think this is a good stopping point just because.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
This is a jam-packed 2.5 hours in one map. I will say that is great.
Yeah.
This is freaking awesome. I
Yeah,
love
you
No,
it.
I
guys.
knew something was up right when Dave goes in Gunder's voice, filthy gnome, in like almost the same way that goblins do, and I was like, he's up.
Man, I've been. Okay, well, first off, um, okay, so we will stop here. I'll let you guys talk with these guys at the start of the next session, and that'll be where we start off. Is anything you want to ask? You know, the rest of the workers, you probably won't have access to Geely. Just as a heads up, he will be disinterested in talking with you. He is sad, um, and that'll be where we pick up next time. But I am curious if you guys have just a minute or two about your impressions of the session.
Oh my god, dude, it's I
This
love
was
it.
a whole murder mystery.
I know, I freaking love stuff like this.
That's
And
good.
like
That's really
actually
good to
being
know. That's really good to know.
and like actually being a part of it, like solving it about what's going on.
And
Oh,
there's
I
no
love it.
takesies backsies. You know,
Mhm.
Mary goes and talks with the goblins. They start shrieking, getting everybody's attention. It's like shit. Okay, now we have to deal with this. There's no going back. You know, you
Yeah.
pull back a tent flap, the bomb goes off. You know, it's like, okay, this is my reality now. What am I gonna do about this? So
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
cool. Yeah, not expecting it is good.
Oh, that's so good. I can't wait.
All right.
Oh, I can't wait to track him down.
Good. I'm glad. It's been a while since you've gotten to play, Daniel. And
I know.
these guys get to play every week. Like I run for them when you don't play. Like I know they don't care, but it's good to have you back in a game, bud. It's good to play play the home game. You know, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, this week I should when. Hold on. Sorry, I have to look at.
I'm gonna log off to go
my
get
calendar.
All right.
Okay.
Later.
Where the heck? Oh. Okay. I should be able to do it this Wednesday.
Okay. Cool. Oh shit! I saw the stream up. Thanks guys for watching. I'm gonna close the stream now. Catch you later.
Yeah.